will be my last in-person meeting. I'd like to take the opportunity to give a few remarks regarding yesterday's election. I'd like to start by thanking the Lower Moreland community for participating in the free and fair election yesterday. Thank you for exercising your right to vote, a right you have when eligible to have your voice heard, whether by voting in person or mail-in ballot. A vote is a vote, and everyone's vote is equal. For someone to cast doubt on this process is an attempt to silence your voice. Yesterday was democracy in action and as designed, a lesson for our children, the cornerstone of our society, and the reason why so many of our parents and parents from generations removed sacrificed so much to come to this country to build a better life. I would like to thank all the candidates who ran for school board for putting themselves out there in the name of wanting to give back and serve this community. Choosing to run for elected office is not an easy decision, and I commend all those who expressed a willingness to serve this community in this capacity. I know all the candidates shared a common goal of doing what's best for our children and are firm believers in the value of excellent public education. I would like to take a moment to share one personal takeaway from observing this and other elections and from having a clearer knowledge now of what our responsibilities are as school board directors. It is tempting to distill the work of the school board down to a social media post or talking point in order to highlight our differences in approach or opinion. But to do so is unfair to the tremendous amount of work that our administration does and the time and effort this board commits to thinking deeply about the choices we have to make to guide our administration. For me, the budget is a perfect example of this. It is difficult to succinctly convey to the general public the months-long process, multiple expenditure votes, and the creative efforts to simultaneously trim costs while investing in the future of our district based on our past, present, and future reality. I think it is therefore incumbent upon us to find opportunities to help educate our community about this process whenever and however we can by engaging them in our work. Doing so will only help make more meaningful dialogue possible and educate our voters each election cycle. I would like to sincerely congratulate the 4 newly elected members of the school board who will be seated in December. Your success is well-deserved and your contributions are eagerly anticipated. As the results are not yet official, I will not mention them by name at this time. For those members who may not be returning to the board, I would like to recognize you for your years of service. Please join me in thanking them with a round of applause. I would like to end my remarks by specifically thanking Mr. Stephen Geiger, who, after being elected in 2011, is retiring from the board at the end of this month. You are truly a son of Lower Moreland, and your commitment to and love of this community is always apparent in your work on this board. Please be assured that we will forever associate your name with anything pickleball related for some reason. Thank you, Steve. Steve, I would like to invite you to say a few words, if you'd like, at the discussion portion of the agenda.
I'll keep it brief because I have one more meeting. I'm sorry, I didn't catch the last thing you said.
Fine.
Oh, see, I got so excited.
I'll let you close out the meeting is what I'm saying, basically. All right, so thank you. Well, thank you for your time. So at this time, I'd like to move on to the second meeting agenda item, which are student representatives to the board.
Hi everyone. So this is our student representative update for November. Isabella isn't here, but I'll be presenting today. So this is just like last time, an overview of what we're going to be presenting today from the 4 different schools. So to start off at Pine Road, they had their Spirit Weeks and Spirit Days and assemblies where they celebrated like Red Ribbon Week, and they had their monthly assemblies where they were able to bond with one another. They also had a farm field trip with the kindergartners and the first graders. You can see on the picture with the students in the hayride that they seem to look like they had a lot of fun. They also implemented the LMTSD system. I was told that it was a data-driven problem-solving approach to identify what each student needs to thrive academically and emotionally, which is amazing to see. And then at Mary Avenue, they did around the same thing with celebrating Spirit Weeks. They celebrated Bully Prevention Month, Unity Day, and Ribbon Week. You can see at the top picture, they're wearing orange to celebrate Bullying Prevention Month. They also had their homeroom pumpkin decorating contest, which looked like a lot of fun. I think that's what the puffer fish is. Its name is Batty. I never had that, so it looks like a lot of fun. The PTA also had their annual Scarecrow Festival, which also looks amazing. It's on the bottom. And yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. At the middle school, the students went to Valley Fair again. I believe it's like a haunted house to celebrate Halloween. For them this year, it was their largest trip to date with over 275 students, which is amazing. They did a group hayride to visit other attractions as well, I believe. And they also had a human bingo activity to make sure they all connect together more, I guess. So what happened was that they had bingo stickers, and if they matched with somebody else, that would be like their new friend. You can see on the top picture, I believe that's Mr. Manning and another student, they matched numbers. So that's how they met, and that's how they found their bingo twin. Then at the high school, at Thon, we had our kids' night out. Yet again, it was so amazing and so fun. There was a record-breaking amount of fundraising and number of tickets sold, which is amazing. And we also had our Notes of Hope event. I believe it's held by the school choir, and they raised money for food insecurity. And I believe Mr. Dominic will touch on this later, but we had a bunch of amazing sports achievements that I wanted to highlight as well. You can see on the bottom, the girls' tennis won second place at states. The cross-country teams went to states as well, and the boys' soccer went to district finals, which I believe was the first time in the history of their program. And that's all for tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions for Ms. Wu? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our next presentation will be from Mr. Dominic for fall athletic accomplishments.
All right. Oh, all right. So, good evening, everyone. It's always a pleasure to be up here and talk about our season and our athletic and also our extracurricular accomplishments. So, we're going to begin with golf. So Mike Guido has been at the helm of the golf team for 7 years now. During that time, the team has shown consistent growth. I think about 4 years ago, we had about 12 kids on varsity, and we didn't have a JV team at that time. This year, we had the numbers to actually add a JV coach and have a JV program. They played 9 matches total, which was 4 more than they did last year. And we had 30 kids try out, with 25 of them making the team, so 10 varsity and 15 JV players. And that was the highest number we've had in years that we've actually kept on the team. So consistently in the 20s the last 2 years, and probably will be that way for the next years coming up. Also, we had senior Sergio Leite qualify for the SOL championships in early October. All right. So our cheer squad, we have Stephanie Yates as the coach in her 3rd year. Basically a similar composition to last year's team. We had about 15, 16 kids. As I mentioned, I think in last year's presentation, they do a bake sale, usually at one of the games, sort of our big ticket games, either homecoming or senior night. This year they did it for both. And the proceeds from senior night went to their end of year banquet, and the proceeds from the homecoming game went to Breast Cancer Awareness Foundation. So good job raising a lot of money for those causes. And they also plan on competing in 3 invitationals this winter. They only competed in 1 last year, and they're going to also compete at the SOL championships, which are held at Central Bucks South High School. Alrighty. So field hockey, we had a returning coach this year. Deb Lawler coached the field hockey team for 14 years, came back this year when we had a vacancy. And obviously the results kind of speak for themselves. The overall record was 12-5-1. That was the most wins we had in the program since 2019. Excuse me. They finished the regular season, like I said, 12-5-1. They went undefeated in the non-leagues, 4-0-1, did not lose a game in their non-league games. And then we're 8-5 in our league games. And then on October 8th, Coach Lawler had a milestone. She won her 200th game in her career coaching field hockey. So we're looking to do something special for her, some sort of plaque or memorabilia that we can put in the trophy case. In the district playoffs, the girls did lose to Unionville High School, but overall the season was a tremendous success. And last year we had 8 all-league selections. We matched that this year, and I think last year I mentioned that was a record for the program. So another really good year for the field hockey program. All right, girls soccer. So the 4th year, it says 3rd, I apologize. It's the 4th year of Coach Todd Hill. The girls went 9-8-1 overall. More importantly, we had the first full slate of JV girls games in the history of the program. So never before had we actually had a JV program for girls. We were able to run a full schedule this year, which was fantastic. And I actually looked at my notes from last year. In the notes from last year, I said that the youth coming up from the middle school was going to be the driver of this team in the next couple years. We had 14 freshmen on the team, which was almost about half the team, and a lot of those girls got good quality varsity minutes. So it actually, some of the things I said last year came to fruition, which was great to see. Highlighted wins would be a 2-0 win over Archbishop Carroll, and we also tied Gwynedd Mercy, and that gave us our first home playoff game in district playoffs since 2017. So it was 8 years since we had a district playoff game for the girls. And the result, though it was not in our favor, the team has bright hopes for the future based on those good numbers of freshmen. And again, I think I mentioned it last year as well, the middle school team for the girls for the 2nd year in a row had an 8th grade and a 7th grade team. In the past, we have not had that. We've had a mixed team. And this year we had about 32, 33 girls. So those numbers are just going to keep coming up to the high school and replenishing the ranks, which is great to see. And the girls had 7 players who made the all-league team. All right, moving on to football. Dom Gregorio is in his 3rd year. As I mentioned last year, they made the district playoffs for the first time in about 10 years. This year they went 6-4 again. Just some stats here. Their first 2 wins over Volk's Big Picture and Samuel Fells High School. They won by a combined score of 82-0, which was, pretty significant. 3 of their 6 wins were shutouts, and they could have had 4. We beat New Hope the last game of the season 50-6, so they could have had 4 shutouts. They did finish as the 5th seed in District 1 4A, which unfortunately did not mean they had playoffs again for the 2nd year in a row. But there's a lot of optimism that's high for the program, especially with the addition of a middle school program this year. And a little later, we're going to have some of our coaches and some of our players speak about the middle school program. This year, we had 43 players, and the expectation that we have 50 to 55 is sort of where we're looking at for next year. All right, focusing on boys soccer here. So the boys soccer team is coached by Bob Barnhart in his 8th season. I had mentioned for some of the board members in the board reports that they were off to a very hot start. They were 8-0 to start the season. They were ranked number 6 in the state, regardless of classification level at that time. And again, some numbers for you. When they went 8-0 in the beginning of the season, they outscored their opponents 25-3. There was a reason that our goalie, Sean Greenleaf, won the MVP for the league. It's because he was great all year long. So they finished 12-3-2 overall. They had a 9-1 league record, which means they were co-champions of the Freedom Division. They shared that with Springfield Township High School. And then we started playoffs on October 22nd. The team hosted Marple Newtown High School. We won 2-1. That was a little bit of a revenge game in a way because they had taken us out of the district semifinals the year before. We traveled to Westchester Ruston, and we beat them 1-0 as well. And then we went to the district finals, which Yuki had mentioned. So the district finals getting to the 3A district finals. It was the first time in the history of the program that it ever happened, because back in 85, 86, when we were in the finals before, we were at, I think, 1 or 2A. So it was the first time the program had ever gotten to that particular classification of district finals. I was reminded by the former coach of soccer that, oh, no, we went in 85, 86. So there was that amendment made. We did go to the finals. We did lose a hard-fought game to Harridan, 2-1. Something to notice, one, is that there's a lot of talent and leadership still on the team, that the boys are going to be doing great next year regardless. But something to also note is that some of the teams that we played in the playoffs, particularly Ruston and Harridan, those are teams that move up from classification from year to year. So those are schools that typically have a larger population than us, and we were holding our own in those games. And like I said, we beat Westchester Ruston to advance to the finals. So. And we had 8 players on the all-league team for boys soccer. And it was, I'll say this too, it was very exciting. We got some fan buses for the finals. I would say that the school really rallied around that team. And moms came into the cafeteria and did some decorations for the day of the game. It was a lot of fun. All right. So our cross-country team was taken over this year by one of our teachers, business teacher Ted Miller. And I'll be honest, I didn't really, all respect to Greg Green, I know he's not here, but I did not notice a large discrepancy in the program. The program continued to thrive. The girls and the boys went 5-0 and 4-1 in league meets again. And at the league championships, the girls won the league title again. Boys finished second. I keep mentioning her name because she's great, is Annie Moniz, won the Freedom Division. She finished second overall in the varsity race, and we had a junior, Graham Alden, who finished third in the boys race. So they went to districts. The girls finished second in 2A. That qualified them for states. And then we also had 2 individuals, Mike Hoke and Graham Alden, who finished third at leagues, who qualified individually for states. And then last week at states, the girls finished 10th in the state for 2A, and Mike ran a good race as well. Annie finished 5th with a time of 19:13. And Ted Miller is also coaching our indoor and our outdoor track, teams. So we wish him much success for the future, but I know that based on his passion and his organization, he's going to do a great job with those other 2 teams. All right. So girls tennis, Cliff Rabin is in his 5th year. I have this at the bottom of my notes here, but I'll start off with this, is that Cliff was named the 24-25 NFHS Girls Tennis Coach of the Year this year. That's something that is well-deserved, and that's ADs have the opportunity to nominate coaches from their staffs, and last year I nominated Cliff, and I'm very happy that he was able to win that. We had Greg Green, who won that 2 years ago in 23-24 for cross-country, so it was very cool to have 2 coaches recognized for that award within a 3-year span. So girls tennis, sort of your usual rundown. 5-0 in league play. They won the league title again. They went 10-3 in their matches. We had a freshman, Kaya Lukov, who won the singles championship. She went on to win the district singles championship. We had a freshman, Natalie Chinia, and a senior, Abigail Yanovitsky, who won the doubles championship, and then they won the district doubles championship. So all 3 of those girls went to states last week for doubles and singles. For the team, they also won the District 1 championship, winning their quarterfinal and semifinal matches. Excuse me, wrong part there. They beat Village O and Jenkintown to win their 5th district title in a row. And then at the state championship in Hershey, as Yuki had up on the board there, and I have the same picture there. They won their quarterfinal and semifinal matches pretty convincingly, but then lost in a very competitive finals match to Scranton Prep. Scranton Prep, just as a note, so we lost to Scranton Prep 2 years ago. We won the state championship last year against Scranton Prep. We lost to them this year. So if the pattern holds, we should have a state championship next year against Scranton Prep, just to get your medals ready. So hopefully that'll happen. And then our girls, Kaya and Natalie and Abigail, went to states for doubles and singles last week. They did lose in the quarterfinals, but again, Kaya's a freshman, Natalie's a freshman. There's lots of enthusiasm for the future of the program. And something to note too is that Natalie and Abigail are our singles players. So that's not their normal thing that they do. They went and they won doubles in the league, they won doubles in the district, and then they went to states. So 3 really talented players that we have. All right, so our last sport that we're covering here is girls volleyball. So this was the first year of girls volleyball. We had Nevaeh Taylor, who is our head coach. She's a senior health sciences major at Temple, who played 4 years of volleyball at Neshaminy. And also her brother was her assistant. He's in the crowd tonight. The two of them, I'll tell you this, I enjoyed every time I went into the gym because it just seemed like that team had so much fun. And so I'm very happy that we were able to add the program. And I think more importantly is that the girls that were able to have that opportunity were happy about having the program, which was, to me, more important. So the girls earned their first win on September 16th against Mass Charter 3. And after that, they took 2 additional matches to a fifth set during the course of the regular season. And we had 19 girls total on the final roster at the end of the season. And I had a conversation with Anthony and his sister basically saying, yeah, we'll probably have to have JV next year because those numbers are a little too big for a varsity team. So hopefully we get 20 to 25 kids and we're able to run JV and varsity next year. That would be sort of our ideal situation. All right, and just some club activity updates before we bring up some of our teams and our coaches. We had the Interact Club hosted a car wash on September 27th, raised about $1,200 for the Wounded Warrior Project. Wounded Warrior Project is an organization that helps post 9/11 soldiers who are ill, injured, or wounded. Great organization. Like I said, they raised over $1,200 for it. Yuki mentioned Minithon. The numbers that I got from our moderator, Ellen Segalo, is that the Color Run raised about $17,000 and Kids Night Out was about $12,000. And those are both sort of record-setting numbers for Thon. And then finally, we had a bunch of students from our gifted program go to Temple University last Wednesday. They were at an event talking about supply chains and their necessity for the global economy, which was a very cool opportunity for them. Talked to a few kids, and they said it was a lot of fun. So, all right. So at this point, I would like to bring up members of we'll do middle school football first, as well as members of the coaching staff and members of the team. So if you guys want to come up to the front. Yeah, I'm going to let Matt start. All right, so I'm just going to bring up our head coach, Matt Hessenthaler, first, and he's just going to say a few words, and I think our guys are going to say a few words as well.
Thanks, Rob. Hey, good evening, everybody. My name's Matt Hessenthaler. I'm the head coach here, the inaugural season here of the middle school football team here at Lower Moreland Middle School. I'm joined here by assistant coaches Sean, Ryan. Unfortunately, our other assistant coach, Dennis, he was unable to attend this evening due to a personal matter. We're also joined here by 3 of our players, Constantine, Dean, and Joseph. So they were welcome to join us tonight, and they've been huge contributors on and off the field this season. So just want to dive in here. I'll speak here for a few minutes. It's really been a privilege kind of being able to coach this team this year, and appreciate all of your help in kind of bringing this to the forefront and allowing these kids to have the opportunity to play football. I've had the ability to play a lot of sports during my life, and one of them being football. And you know what? On the field, it feels great to play. You learn a lot of life lessons, but you learn more life lessons for off the field too. And you know what? We inherited some individuals who came out this year. Started off with actually only 14 kids. We were up to actually 30 kids by the time of our first game, which I thought was a huge achievement. And was really happy to see the eagerness and the interest of these kids to come out and play such a meaningful sport. That means a lot to myself and the rest of the coaching staff here. But you know what, it teaches us a lot, like I said, life lessons off the field. And you know what, I think it allows us to say, okay, you know what, life is a team game. That's how you have to operate in football. And you know, what I've seen of these kids here now over about 2 months, where they were at 2 months ago is nowhere close to where they're at now, and it's just awesome to see the growth of them over that short period of time. And yeah, you know what? Okay, I'm sure if you guys have been paying attention, our record doesn't necessarily reflect that. But day in and day out, I'm just continuing to see improvement of these kids, not just how they act on the field, but actually how they just behave in the hallways of the school, even though just a little bit that I see them after dismissal. It's really kind of brings a joy to my heart, and I'm happy to see that, okay, you know, this is going to teach them life lessons that they'll take with them for the rest of their lives and hopefully help to instill in them here as they go forward here for those that are coming back to the middle school next year and for those that are hopefully going to join our high school team next year as well. So I'll turn it over here to some of our assistant coaches if they want to say a few quick words, and then also our players too, if any of them want to have a quick word as well.
Hello, I'm Assistant Coach Sean Maloney. I would just like to say thank you guys very much for the improvement of this program and everything. Our players they've had a blast this year. I was a 4-year player here at Lower Moreland High School, and coming out a few years after high school, it really means a lot to me seeing these young guys coming out here and interested in the game that I once loved and still do love. And it's just great, honestly. The eager faces that we see come out every day, and they're just excited. They're balls of energy. It's really awesome, and I just wanted to say thank you guys very much for everything you guys have done for us.
Hi, my name's Ryan Boney. I'm also one of the other assistant coaches. Just like both of my other coaches said, we just want to thank you guys for this opportunity. I know it means a lot to us, and I know it's going to mean a lot to our players as well as they join the high school team experienced. That's one thing I wish I had going into high school. I also played all 4 years high school. I would have loved to have a middle school team, and I know a lot of kids in my grade at the time, we all wish there was a middle school football team. So I'm happy that they get to experience this opportunity, and we as coaches can share that love for football that we still have and wish that we could have continued. And yeah, just thank you for this opportunity, because I think it's going to go a long way for the high school team's future and to just build kids up when they get older as well. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Constantine Ryan, and I'm the quarterback of the middle school football team. If football has taught me anything, it's taught me that when you get pushed down in the dirt, you don't lie there and take it. You get back up and you push harder than you did last time. This season has helped me to look into the eyes of the person tackling me, respect them as a person. I do not hate my opponents, but I won't let them tackle me without a fight. I've made friends with people I never would have met if it weren't for this amazing opportunity, and I've built stronger bonds with those I've known for several years. Football has helped me to grow as an athlete, but also as a man. I've applied knowledge I've gained in practice and football games, and I've applied it to daily life, and I have a new perspective on the world around me. I love my coaches, I love my team, not because they are my team, but because they're my family, and family isn't just important, it's everything. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. And I was going to mention before they spoke that Ryan and Sean are alums, football alums, but it meant a lot that Matt wanted to include them in the program because they had that experience. And also, I feel like as much as we can now, we're looking for people who can coach in the district who have played here. It's something that I think means a lot to the players, that they look up to them, and that's awesome. So, all right. So I'm going to bring up Anthony Taylor, our assistant volleyball coach, as well as two of our players, Milani Soto and Melanie Zlatnikov, to also say a few words about the program.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Anthony Taylor. I'm the assistant coach for Lower Moreland Girls Volleyball. My sister, Nevaeh Taylor, who's the head coach, could not be here tonight. She is a senior right now at Temple, and she's in one of her night classes right now. So this is my first year teaching at Lower Moreland, teaching chemistry and environmental science. This sport that we launched this year, it was more than just adding a sport. It was about creating a new energy and a new home for these girls. My sister and I have thoroughly enjoyed the experience of taking on the responsibility of coaching this team. It has been a great opportunity to meet some of these students who most I do not have this year, but the ability to watch them grow and develop their skills throughout the season has been amazing. Our goal this season was not to win every game, as it was our first season, but to build a place where these girls could come together, learn and practice a new sport, build community, and learn how to work together as a team. They have built confidence, learning to communicate under pressure, and developed a sense of community that extends way beyond the final whistle. I'd now like to turn it over to let you hear from two of our girls on our team, Melanie Zlatnikov and Melania Soto.
My name is Melanie Zlatnikov, and I'm a sophomore here, and I had the privilege of being one of the captains here for our first year. I'm so grateful to have such amazing coaches that supported us and helped us create such a special first season. Not only did I get the chance to play my favorite sport, but I got the chance to create and strengthen friendships with people that I never thought I would speak to if it wasn't for volleyball. The season was definitely a learning curve for all of us, but I'm so proud of all the girls that put themselves out there and joined the team, even if they didn't have experience. And every single girl on the team, I feel they improved, and I'm really just proud of all the effort they put in. And I'm really excited to see what the future seasons have for us.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Melania Soto. So let's just say when I found out that Lower Moreland High School was doing a volleyball team, I was so excited, and I instantly knew I wanted to try out. I was so happy that volleyball has been accepted as a sport here at Lower Moreland, and I just wanted to take a moment to thank our coaches for stepping in and being patient with our team. They made this team possible and supported us every step of the way. I had so much fun being on this team. This team gave girls who couldn't play at the club level but had the love for the sport a chance to play and have fun. And I really can't wait to see what the next 2 years have in store for our team. And yeah, thank you.
And I'll just add that Nevaeh and Anthony are going to switch positions in the spring. So Anthony's going to be the head coach, and Nevaeh is going to be his assistant. So they did a great job this fall, and we want to keep that relationship going. So thank you for all your time and consideration tonight. And again, thanks for always having me up here. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Dominic. Congratulations to all the student athletes and all the students and coaches who are trailblazing some new sports here at Lower Moreland. Our next agenda item, Dr. Best, is there a superintendent's update?
There is. First up, I just want to call out that our Halloween events last Friday were a great success throughout the district, from the parade of Pine Road up to the faculty costume competition here at the high school. Up next, we have our fall play coming. This is the Brothers Grimm Spectaculathon by Don Zalitis. The shows are November 13th, 14th, and 15th at 7 p.m. in the middle school auditorium. Tickets will be available at the door for cash or check only, so please make note of that. I'm also happy to announce an upcoming tech night that Mr. Prakash Patel, our director of technology, will be co-facilitating with Justin Brommer, who is our school resource officer from the Lower Moreland Township Police Department. The focus of the evening will be to empower families with tools for internet safety and digital management, specifically by utilizing the iBoss Home app. The session will be designed to teach parents and guardians how to access detailed reports on their students' online activities on district devices, and how to utilize the management features to control device connectivity when at home. We will send out an announcement district-wide about that tomorrow with those details. Also coming up is our annual mini-thon event, which will be on November 21st from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. in the high school cafeteria and gym. And we have parent-teacher conferences coming up November 24 and 25. The last bit of information I'd like to share is really cool, but our former board representative, student board representative, Mia Dubin, who is now at the University of Maryland, submitted a story to World News Tonight with David Muir about Justin Soloff being crowned as our homecoming king this fall. It was selected to be aired during the America Strong segment of their show on ABC, and it actually aired this evening at 6:30 p.m. So many of you who are, don't worry, Mr. Geiger, we have YouTube. We will get the link out. Yeah, that's the story was originally supposed to air about a week ago, but due to a hurricane and a few other instances of news in the world, it was moved back, but did air this evening. So we will be sure to get that out to the community via our website and our other avenues for doing so. That concludes my update.
Thank you, Dr. Best. Are there any comments or questions from the board for Dr. Best? Great. If not, we'll move to personnel. Ms. Galdo, can you take us through items A, B, and C, starting with A, personnel motions?
Certainly. So under item 1A, we have Kara Phillips, who's recommended to be added to our substitute clerical list. And then Kyle Lalarati, the counselor at the high school, is recommended for the AP coordinator position. This is a position that is in the teacher's contract. And then we have 3 FMLA leave requests and 1 personal necessity leave request. And then we have 1 mentor, Kim Turnbull.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for Ms. Galdo? If not, item B, athletic extracurricular contracts and stipends.
Okay, yes, and we have 4 middle school coaches that we're recommending for baseball, wrestling, basketball, and cheerleaders. And then the high school, we have a wrestling assistant.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? Item C, non-athletic extracurricular contract and stipends.
Yes, we have 1 contract at the middle school, which is being shared between 2 teachers, and then we have 11 extracurricular contracts at the high school.
Thank you. Any comments or questions?
I have a question for Dr. Best. Could you just explain the scope of the two Lower Moreland Christian Fellowships Group and the Muslim Student Association? Like, how does that operate?
Sure. So our faculty members serve as the moderators for those groups. So they're student-led groups who meet around a shared interest of culture or interest, and our faculty are there to facilitate that for them.
Okay, and there's no conflict of, like, separation church and state?
No, there is not, no.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Thank you, Ms. Galdo. We'll move to agenda item 5, teaching, learning, and community engagement. Mr. Cole, for professional meetings, please.
Yeah, we just have the one meeting this month. It's Dr. O'Malley attending a session on comprehensive literacy framework with the DLM leading literacy for all in elementary.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions for Mr. Cole? Thank you. That'll take us to buildings and grounds, applications for use. Ms. Ovington, please.
Sure. This month we have 2 applications for use of our facilities, one from the German school and one from our PTA for a volleyball tournament for the middle school.
Thank you. Any comments or questions on these 2 applications for use? Thank you. We'll move on to business and finance. We'll stay with Ms. Ovington for item A.
So we have our accounts payable list as of 10/28/25 and just over $3.5 million for the checklist that's attached.
Are there comments and questions from the board on the accounts payable checklist?
I do, Dr. Lee.
Thank you.
This is Ovington. The payments to, I'm looking for it now, I saw it before, the Wilmington Trust.
There are bond payments.
Bond payments?
Correct.
And they are just paying the interest, or are they actually paying down the principal?
Part of it, the higher amount obviously is the interest, and then the smaller amount is the principal.
Okay. Okay. And are there the payments for the funds we raised for the school? for
It's
financing the
various
school?
bonds that you've had throughout the years
Okay.
that are due twice a year.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Sure.
Any other comments or questions? Item B, equipment disposal, food service.
So we have 4 items that we'd like to dispose of from our food service department. They're all located at the middle school currently. It's a milk cooler that's not operational, a 2-eye burner, a Garland double-deck convection oven that partially works, and a Hobart baking mixer. So they're really just taking up space at this point. So we're asking if we can put them in as obsolete equipment.
Any comments or questions? Thanks. Thank you. If there are no student services or technology updates, we'll move on to school board agenda. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. We'll move on to school board agenda. Item A is a state budget resolution urging the Pennsylvania General Assembly to end the state budget impasse. This is a resolution that many districts have been passing at the suggestion or guidance of PSBA with the attached resolution document here. Are there any comments or questions on the proposed resolution, which essentially urges the state to pass the budget? So this will be up for vote next meeting.
I have a related question. I saw a news report that there are districts that are potentially facing a risk of closure if the budget doesn't pass by January. And I was wondering if the administration could share what our risk might be if the budget doesn't pass by then.
I did look through that today because I figured it would come up. So I did look over the last 6 months and how the amount of funds that we have not received compared to last year. Last year at this time, we had received $4.9 million between state and federal funding and our school lunch program. This year to date, we have received $2.3 million as of today. Moving into December, if we receive nothing, we will have received $7.2 million last year, and we'd still be at the $2.3 million today. So we'd be about $4.8 million short by the end of December. But 21% of our budget is federal and state monies, so we still have a steady flow of our local revenue coming in. So through December, I think we're okay. We are looking at ways to, we did PSERS, so our PSERS payment, our portion of it, we paid, and there's a state portion that we get reimbursement for. So the state said that we didn't have to pay that portion, so we could hold on to that, and when this budget is approved, we have 5 days to go about and do that. So we did do that in a way of cost savings to hold some money aside. So we are looking at it, we're reviewing it, we're looking at options for it. And for now through December, we're going to be okay, but we are going to have to keep our eye on it.
Is that something the board will be advised on at a future time of gap strategies or what we will need to do?
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, if it were to get to that point, it would still be further down the road for that, but absolutely, the board would definitely
December
be
feels very close.
involved.
Yeah.
So related to this, and I was asked to bring this up during the discussion session, is a memo expressing a strategy that the district will be adopting related to funding for charter schools. So we'll post this full-length document, but I'll try to summarize here quickly. So approximately 20% of the district's annual revenue is derived from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. As we know, the state funding is at an impasse with no enacted budget yet, leaving school districts like ours without state fundings that they're legally entitled to. Under Pennsylvania law, we're required to pay tuition to public charter schools and public cyber charter schools for resident students who enroll in these schools, regardless of whether the Commonwealth has fulfilled the obligation to fund public education, thereby placing an inequitable and unsustainable financial burden on public school districts during this budget impasse. Charter schools are also public schools authorized under Pennsylvania law, and their operations are likewise dependent on public funding from the Commonwealth. So our district, as with many others, will face financial strain due to the delayed or reduced state funding, impairing our district's ability to meet its contractual obligations, including payments required to public charter schools and public cyber charter schools. So we feel it's both fair and reasonable that public charter schools share in the impact of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania's failure to pass a budget to the same extent as public school districts, and that any withholding of funds be understood as a temporary measure to ensure equity until state funding is restored. So the board, we have determined that until the Commonwealth enacts a budget that provides clear, reliable funding streams and resolves the budget impasse, the district must take prudent financial measures to protect its solvency and ensure that it can continue providing essential services to the students and staff. Therefore, the Board of School Directors of the Lower Moreland Township School District directs the administration to temporarily withhold 20% of each public charter school and public cyber charter school tuition invoice that becomes due during the period of the state budget impasse until the district receives state funding or there is other state law funding enabling the district to pay. The 20% is the equivalent of the district's portion of revenues from the state that have not yet been provided. The district acknowledges that all amounts withheld are the district's obligations, and once the state budget impasse is resolved, such amounts shall be paid in full, consistent with the contract terms and statutory law.
So this is one way we've looked at it outside of the box, and a lot of our fellow districts in Montgomery County have also looked at it this way as well. Right now, a lot of the holdup is charter school debates and funding for charter schools, and if we keep paying charter schools, they're not going to feel the crunch like the districts are. So in order to let them feel a little bit of a crunch as well, we are going to withhold right now 20% of our budget is state, so we're going to withhold 20% of their invoices and not pay them until the budget is set. So it's not a huge amount, but I think it makes a statement, and I think it shows that we're willing to look outside the box and think of other ways that we can do this. Currently, if we didn't pay a charter school bill, they would run to PDE. PDE would say, okay, we'll withhold it from their basic ed subsidy and not pay it. We're not getting our basic ed subsidy anyway, so.
Do we have any legal exposure from?
We have run this past our solicitor, and he felt that it was fine to do this way. As long as we did the 20%, we could justify it.
Thank you.
So what was read is the recommendation from the administration. Is that what you read? Thank you.
So collectively, these charter schools, because if several schools withhold 20%, they're going to be feeling quite a pinch.
Sure. I mean, unfortunately, charter schools have a lot extra funding that we don't, that they aren't responsible. They can have their fund balance be double the amount of their actual whatever. They don't have to document it. They don't have to answer to anyone. They don't have to do AFRs and things like that. Yeah. So they'll be okay, but they will start feeling the punch if collectively all districts start doing something. We have other districts that are doing 100%. They're just not going to pay them. So I think we're making more of a statement than a financial burden on them, but I think it's a good statement.
Thank you.
And currently, there's a test case going on with the Penn Hills Charter School entrepreneurship versus the state of Pennsylvania coming after some districts that are not paying 100% right now. So it'll be interesting to see how that lands. But the more aggressive approach that some districts are taking of fully withholding payment are some larger districts who have many more charter school students than we do. So that pinch will be felt much more heavily by their actions and hopefully can drive our legislators to come to an agreement. We're the only state in the United States without a budget right now.
Karen, refresh my memory. Are we around $300,000 in charter school tuition that we pay?
Yes.
Has anyone, I mean, the emails that we get, I was just checking them again from school board associations from the state are, like, doesn't seem to be a resolution, like, right around the corner. It doesn't seem, like, imminent.
For a budget?
Yeah, for it to be passed. So you mentioned that we're good until maybe the first part of the year, which is not very far away. Is there anybody have anything to add, Dr. Best, Mike, from the legislation, that we're getting closer? Is there any optimism?
There is, from what I heard early this week, as in yesterday. But the PASA Legislative Committee has shared that the governor and legislature is close to a budget deal, is what we've been told through our professional administrators organization. That could also fall apart. I don't want to promise something that I can't confirm, but I haven't heard this reported yet throughout this entire process. I haven't heard anyone in the know say that we are actually close. So I view that as good news. I don't know what close means and what trade-offs were made, but close is better than what we've been hearing.
So with the 20% that we're looking to withhold, does that take place in January, or is that something that's done now?
We're going to start now.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Okay. Item B is a request for approval for a change event number 1 from the bid package number 1, which was RTU replacement pine and dehumidification system for a credit of $15,950 for changing from the specified pool dehumidification unit to a pool pack unit.
So basically, we had one brand, which was the Dectron unit, and we had past experience that it wasn't a very good product for us before. So we asked them to go back and look at it. The vendor was able to go back, research it. They found a different brand of pool pack. It was run past the vendor, it was run past the mechanical engineers, and then run past Lance as well. And we all felt that was a better way to go. So that would be a savings for us of $15,950. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, hold on.
Enjoy it for a moment.
Any comments or questions
Don't
on
pass.
the dehumidification system change in brand? If not, we'll go to the next change event item from bid package number 3, which are building controls for the Murray Avenue.
So we currently are under bid package number 3. We had them look into our building controls at Murray Avenue. As we were doing this, we noticed there were some issues at Pine Road as well. They went over and looked, and we do need to replace our chilled and hot water wiring that's currently malfunctioning at Pine Road. And the scope of the project would also include upgrading the network controller at Pine Road to be the equivalent at Murray Avenue. And this would be additional cost of $47,210.
Comments or questions?
Can you help me understand what that means? What the chilled and hot water wiring does for the school?
I cannot, but Lance is here.
Right. Yeah, it's not actually the wiring. There's modules at what they call on the front end, and they're very important. A lot of information feeds out of them out to units all throughout the building, and so we've been having a lot of difficulty. I noticed a lot of problems on the computer system that we use, the building management system, and it's causing us to have to go on and override things that would normally be done through the system. This is something that would have to be changed. They're already beyond scope of, you can't get a replacement for it, so we couldn't kick it down the road any farther.
Sure. What does this wiring control? Like it's not working, obviously, but what does it mean in terms of like the problem?
And yeah,
like I
layman's
understand
term.
that like the electrical piece is bad.
I mean, there's a lot going on behind the walls, and so these things feed information from the units and send out signals to control it, open heating valves, cooling valves.
Okay,
So
understand.
you could potentially in the middle of a cold spell could have a catastrophic problem if something were to fail and these things didn't do what they're supposed to. But yeah, they're obsolete already, over 20 years old.
And the reason for the change order now, they're going to be doing similar work at Mary Avenue. So it's cost avoidance in the terms of we'd be doing this at the same time rather than coming back and fixing something we'd know we'd have to fix later, which would cost us more. And if you think of our simplistic catchphrase for this: warm, safe, cool, and dry. This falls right into that, right? We want to make sure we can heat and cool the building when we need to.
So the references to the bid package 1, 3, and 4, these 3 items that we're discussing, are these part of the initial round of the ICS? So these
Yes, these are the 4 that went out for bid.
So these are in addition to those projects in terms of expanding the scope, related to the projects or unrelated? Or I guess it doesn't
This is related because it's the same type of work.
Yeah.
So it's related to the
So it's
project,
bunched
which is
with
why we
these.
could put a change order in on that.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions for item C, the building control issue, bid package 3? If not, we'll move on to bid package number 4, change event regarding the Mary Avenue chiller.
So this is an additional cost of $17,618 to add a sound attenuator to the new chilling tower. Hold on, I know this one. So yeah, when you have the chilling tower, it's very noisy, and this goes over top of it to kind of help with the noise for the surrounding neighbors and neighborhoods. So when they were coming to look at the other one, they realized we had it on the old one. It wasn't included in the scope on the new one. So they would like to include it now. Did I get it right, Lance?
Yeah, attenuator. That's
Thanks.
Any comments or questions on the chiller attenuator?
Have we had any complaints about the noise? Is there an assessment of the number of decibels or something, or how much it's going to be decreased, or is it really
I think this is
necessary
just
expense?
because we knew that we had it on there now in the old chilling tower. It was made sense to make sure that we include it on the new chilling tower, just so it's not a problem for the neighbors.
And the location of it is very close to the homes on the backside where the football field is. So that's probably why it was on there originally. I think so.
So net out of these 3 packages is how much?
Net's about $50,000 plus.
Thank you. Other comments or questions? Thank you, Ms. Ovington, Mr. Freeman. We'll next take items E through O, which are first readings of revised policies as listed. Each has an accompanying board cover memo with a summary and overview. Are there any particular policies that the board would like to discuss or have questions on?
Dr. Lee, the comment that I have about just the educational excellence and equity, that looks like something we wrote. Didn't come from the state like the other policies or updates. Is that correct, or am I wrong, Dr. Best?
Well, I'd like to give Mr. Cole an opportunity to describe the process of how this proposed policy has come to fruition.
So, Mr. Geiger, the short answer is kind of. So it started with a model policy. 823 is a model policy that PSBA offers. We had a committee of representatives representing the school administration, the school board, and the community, as well as our students, look at that policy and make some significant revisions and suggestions. So that's why it looks like that currently. So it was a starting point, but some customization that was done by a committee of our constituents in the district.
Okay. And like all of the other policies, do we have this reviewed by our solicitor? Or does the solicitor review the policies as well, or is that not happen?
That is part of what we pay PSBA for. So their team of solicitors are the reviewers. We don't use the
Not
district
our
solicitor.
personal, okay, or our district?
There are times we may consult with the district solicitor, but
Yeah.
that's part of the fee that we pay
Okay.
PSBA for.
Okay, thank you.
Other comments and questions on this or other revised policies?
I have a question, not specific to any of the policies, but it seems like it would fall here. I was asked by a few community members, how come we haven't given a DEI report in quite some time, and they're not even seeing it as a topic on our agenda items. Is that something that we still have a committee for, or?
We do. We'll let Mr. Cole address this because he was tasked.
Yeah, so that was, that's the group that worked through this policy. We didn't call it the DEI Council anymore, but that was the group that worked through and created this policy. And then if you look through the policy, the reporting mechanisms that kind of speak to some of those will replace a standalone equity report and kind of embedding those measures within all of the reporting that we do. So you'll start to see, starting with our data presentation coming for our PSSA, it's a lot more disaggregation of that data and really looking at many different groups within the district at a more comprehensive level in all of our reporting rather than a standalone separate one.
Thank you, Mr. Cole. Any other comments or questions? Thank you. Is there any correspondence to the board?
There is not.
I'd like to start with public comment. Is there a public comment from the audience?
No one has signed up.
Okay. That'll take us to discussion. We addressed the 20% already. Is there other topics that the board would like to discuss before we give Mr. Geiger any opportunity to say any words?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Lee. I didn't have any planned remarks, so I'll keep it brief because I could go on, and I don't want to do that because next board meeting will be my last, and my family is going to be here, so I'll save my comments. But just because of everyone here, it's been just a true pleasure, representing Lower Moreland and just working with the current board members and then past board members. You've been so committed and just focused on improving student outcomes and giving our students the best opportunity to succeed in all the decisions, so I appreciate that. Just an honor to work with the teachers. We have an unbelievable teacher association here at Lower Moreland that stands out. That's why we're so competitive, and it starts with them, but also the administration. Had the pleasure to work with just tremendous, talented people, dedicated people. I thought I worked hard in the corporate world until I actually met people that worked harder in the administration, all the hours they put in. So thank you for that. And I think we're in really good shape. Lower Moreland's in really good shape in the future with Dr. Best, Dr. Henrik, and the team they've assembled. So thank you, Dr. Lee, for that opportunity. And good luck to you. And thank you for everything you did. You worked extremely hard and did many good things in your short 4-year tenure on the board, so thank you, gentlemen.
Didn't feel that so short, Steve. Thank you for the opportunity.
It is compared to 14. So.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Any other items? If not, if there are no objections, I'll move to adjourn into our next meeting on November 18th at 7 p.m. As there are no objections, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.